As I was covering this as well alongside you guys, I always thought you two were such a great team because Karin, you had the national security experience and the expertise. And then Rachel, of course, you're so well sourced among House leadership, congressional offices. And so you guys broke a lot of news as you were reporting this in real time. But also, there's just so much more in this book. And one of the things that stuck out to me is at the beginning, how we knew that Pelosi did not want to go down that path at the time. But your book really outlines and details how resistant she was, how she was put in a box at multiple stages of the process through her Judiciary Chair, Jerry Nadler, and then ultimately by a bunch of national security frontline Democrats. Karin, can you talk a little bit about that and explain a little bit more about how critical that was to get Pelosi on board and why she had to relent?
Right. Well, just as a baseline matter, I mean, Pelosi kind of came of age as a leading Democrat in Congress during the Clinton impeachment years and learned through that experience that impeachment can blow back on the impeacher if it's not done perfectly. And so she kind of foresaw that this was going to be difficult. And given that she was trying to protect a majority that she had just won, becoming speaker again at the beginning of 2019, with the help of a bunch of moderate Democrats winning seats in districts that Trump had also won in 2016, she was very, very concerned about impeachment being a boomerang. And so she used all kinds of measures to put down all these calls for impeachment coming from the more liberal wing of the Democratic Party that only intensified after the Mueller report came out. We document week by week, basically, how there was this band of Democrats on the Judiciary Committee, people don't really know, but Jamie Raskin was basically the ringleader of that group long before he became the face of the second impeachment prosecution. He said, we have to do this. He and his friends started to approach Nadler. Nadler said, but Pelosi will never go for it. You are going to basically have to stage a mutiny in the party and build up so much support that she can't deny it. She's going to have to go with it. We document how even, Pelosi tried to put Nadler down as he filed petitions with courts to get information about the redacted information in the Mueller report, saying each time, oh, we're doing this because we're considering impeachment, even though Pelosi really had not given him the green light to do that. So there was a little bit of, trickery going on. We refer to it in the book as something called the magic dick language, which was a pejorative term that the Judiciary Committee adopted in kind of jeeringly about Pelosi's House counsel, Pelosi's staffer, Richard Meltzer, who was putting down their efforts and kind of blocking for Pelosi. We show how during that summer, she said, I don't care if I'm the last person standing, I'm not going to let this impeachment go ahead. And yet, by September, as the Ukraine allegations started to come out in the press, and it started to become clear about the role that Trump had played in trying to get Ukrainian President Zelensky to launch an investigation into the Biden family in exchange for him getting the military aid Congress had already approved for him. As those allegations started to become confirmed and solidified, you had this band of freshman members with national security experience, having worked for agencies, having military background, saying, okay, well, we need to do something. They approach Schiff. Schiff is also talking to Pelosi. And it was painted at the time as being this organic moment of they wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post and Pelosi just said, oh, of course I have to go along with them. We show kind of hour by hour how there was several days of Pelosi knowing that this was coming, the national security freshmen trying to psych out whether they could get ahead of Pelosi or not. And this all being a very sort of reluctantly dragging the speaker into a position where she had to say, okay, I'm going to go ahead because I have lost my people here. But then never really being so embracing of impeachment that she was ready to let them run with it. She approved of impeachment, but she put it on a timeline. They had to be done by Christmas so that it wouldn't interfere with the 2020 election season. She would not let them open the aperture of the probe beyond the Ukraine allegations, even though, look, we didn't know at the time that there was going to be a resumed war between Russia and Ukraine. It was a hard thing for people to sink their teeth into. People wanted her to follow the money, to look at the emoluments violations. She basically said, no, we're finishing by Christmas. We're doing it this way and we're getting it done, which is not the way. It's a way to maybe try to protect your political weak flank, right? But it's not a way to make sure that you are upholding the strength of your subpoenas, the punch of the legislative branch's oversight that's guaranteed in the Constitution.